Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing really well. ये एक ऐसे क्वेश्चन है. I have taken this one essay question from section D, part 1, and this is a bit of a basic of ABC analysis. So it's really important for your CMA examination, part 1 CMA examination. और ऐसे ऐसे क्वेश्चंस बहुत सारे, मतलब स्टूडेंट्स के सवाल है कि सर ऐसे क्वेश्चंस के और वीडियोस डालते रहो. आई हैव बीन अपलोडिंग ऐसे क्वेश्चंस एंड आई विल बी अपलोडिंग इट आल्सो रेगुलरली. तो आप सबको, मतलब दिस इज गोइंग टू बी a bit of a problematic question. So let us get started with it. So those who all have not yet subscribed to my channel and are new here, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you never miss an update about the certified management accounting examination. And those who are part of this channel for long time, thank you very much for your support. We are growing 4,000 plus subscribers right now, and growing further ahead. Now what we'll do is get started with this particular problem, और इस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करते हैं. चलो, तो कभी भी जब ऐसा, मतलब whenever we have a question like this, whenever we have a question like this, what we need to do first is read the requirement. So I have chosen this question, and let's read the requirement first. So here's the requirement. So typically in the main examination also you'll receive a requirement similar to like this. Using Smart's current costing system, calculate the gross margin per unit for model M11 and model R24. Assume no beginning or ending inventory. Show your calculations. तो सबसे पहले हमको मालूम करना है ग्रॉस मार्जिन. में पेन कहाँ रखा? ओके, पेन यहाँ. फिर we have to find out what using activity based costing. Okay, previously it was normal costing, means the before costing method. Now it is activity based costing. Calculate the gross margin for model M11 and model R24. So it is the same. Assume no beginning or ending inventory. Show your calculations. Then third question is describe how smart electronics can use the activity based costing information to formulate a more competitive pricing strategy. Be sure to include specific examples to justify the recommended strategy. Okay, so this type of question is kind of a descriptive, तो आपको type down करना है answer. And in the first second, there is calculations. We have to find out gross margin. मतलब first और second में gross margins calculate करना है. थर्ड में वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट, वी जस्ट हैव टू एक्सप्लेन के और अच्छी स्ट्रेटेजी कैसे बना सकते हैं एबीसी कॉस्टिंग यूज करके. देन आइडेंटिफाई एंड एक्सप्लेन टू एडवांटेजेस एंड टू लिमिटेशंस ऑफ एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग. ठीक है, तो काइंड ऑफ ऑल इन ऑल प्रॉपर ऐसे क्वेश्चन फॉर योर एग्जामिनेशन. अब जैसे कि आप लोग अगर एग्जाम देने वाले हैं सीएमए का, तो ये बात याद रख लो कि आपको जब एक ऐसे क्वेश्चन आएगा ना, तो इस बात से तो मैं गारंटी दे सकता हूँ, श्योर हूं मैं, कि आपको एक स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक का, मतलब एक ही टॉपिक, जैसे कि ये क्वेश्चन देखो पूरा एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग एबीसी एनालिसिस के ऊपर है, तो एक क्वेश्चन में पूरा एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग के ऊपर ही डिपेंडेंट क्वेश्चन ऐसा आना इज काइंड ऑफ नॉट पॉसिबल. आपको एक दो टॉपिक थोड़ा सा मिक्सचर मिलेंगे, जैसे कि एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग है, अगर वो क्वेश्चन में थोड़ा सा प्रोसेस कॉस्टिंग, फिर थोड़ा सा फोरकास्टिंग भी ऐड हो सकता है. तो इट्स काइंड ऑफ मिक्सचर आते क्वेश्चंस, तो सो दैट दे कवर अप द होल सिलेबस. अच्छा, ऐसा भी एक सवाल आता स्टूडेंट्स की, सर विच टॉपिक, फ्रॉम विच टॉपिक स्पेसिफिकली ऐसे क्वेश्चन ज्यादा आ सकते. तो देयर इज नो स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक. ऐसे क्वेश्चंस कैन कम फ्रॉम एनी टॉपिक एंड इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ मिक्सचर. दो ऐसे क्वेश्चन ही रहते हैं क्वेश्चन पूछने के लिए, तो देयर आर चांसेस दैट they will try to cover up maximum syllabus. पूरा कर तो नहीं सकते दो क्वेश्चन में, but still they'll try to cover up the syllabus. तो थोड़ा एक mixture of questions आएंगे टॉपिक से. तो I hope that you guys have understood about these questions के examination में कैसे आ सकते हैं. Now let's start reading this essay question. Now we have these 4 questions. हमको मालूम है, पहले में हमको ग्रॉस मार्जिन मालूम करना है. कौन सा ग्रॉस मार्जिन? वो भी from the current costing system. और second question क्या है, हमको फिर gross margin मालूम करना है using ABC costing. और third question ये है कि ABC costing को के इस्तेमाल करते हुए what better strategy, what better competitive strategy we can come up with. And it is also saying us to come up with a a recommendation ka proof backing up. There should be some proof, just not like this ऐसे ही मत बता दो. You should have some proper backing. And fourth question, what it said is, what are two advantages and two disadvantages of activity based costing? So this fourth question is kind of a general type of a question which they are asking, and these type of questions can come in the exam also. These type of questions है मतलब कि एक खाली जनरल क्वेश्चन, जैसे कि दिस केस से रिलेटेड तो नहीं है ना, एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग के एडवांटेजेस डिसएडवांटेजेस, दैट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन कैन आल्सो कम. एंड the first three questions which we have seen, that is related towards this particular paragraph only, which we are going to read. तो पहले हम requirement पढ़ लिए, requirement समझ गए. Now we have to go forward towards the case. Now let's read. Smart electronic manufactures two types of gaming consoles. One is model M11 and another one is R24. Currently, the company allocates overhead cost based on direct labor hours. So right now they are using direct labor hours to allocate the overhead cost, indirect cost. The total overhead cost for the past year was 80,000 euros. Okay, so this is euros, not pounds. Additional cost information for the past year is presented below. So the product name M1, M11 and R24. The direct labor hours used is for M11 is 650 and for R24 is 150 hours. And how many units are sold? 1,300, 1,500 for the last year. And the direct cost per unit is 10, 30. Selling price per unit is 90 and 60. And if we have to calculate the, gross margin, we already have the selling price. We have the direct cost price per unit. What we need to find out more further should be this overhead cost only. So what is the per unit cost? Let's see. Let's read the more further question. Recently, the company lost bids on a contract to sell model M11. This particular product, they have lost it to a local wholesaler and was informed that the competitor offered a much lower price. Okay. Smart's controller believes that the cost reports do not accurately reflect the actual manufacturing cost. मतलब कि वो जो qualified CMA है वहां पे बैठा हुआ, वो बोल रहा है कि it does not reflect the actual manufacturing cost and the product profitability for these gaming consoles. He also believes that there is enough variation in production process for model M11 and R24 to warrant a better cost allocation system. Given the nature of the electronic gaming market, setting competitive prices is extremely crucial. तो ये तो एक general term हो गया. Given the nature of electronic gaming market, setting competitive price extremely crucial. The controller has decided to try activity-based costing and gathered the following information. Okay, so he has activity-based costing information also. So he has come up with M11 के number of setups कितने हैं, कितना खर्चा अलग. He has come up with a breakup, I guess. So 20,000, 50,000 and 10,000. So all this put together is 80,000 only again. Is that so? Yeah, 80,000. और अलग अलग breakup के साथ he has come up with some data. For the number of setups, number of components and the number of material movements have been identified as cost drivers for the overheads. He has come up with the data. Now with that data, we have to find out these questions. And number one question is gross margin. Number two is also gross margin, but gross margin पहले कौन सा करना है हमको? We have to do it based on this particular data. This data के ऊपर पहला question है हमारा. Gross margin इस पे निकालना है हमको. Then this is activity based costing data. So second, we have to do it for this. And third, we have to give a more competitive, view on it, more competitive advantage add करने के लिए. तो that's kind of easy only for us because जो हुआ है question में वो बताएंगे हम. And fourth one is completely general. So क्वेश्चन को तो ब्रेक डाउन कर चुके हैं हम लोग. वी हैव ब्रेकन डाउन द क्वेश्चन राइट नाउ. Now what we need to do is go further and solve it. So for that, what should I do? See, in your main examination, you will have a small box somewhere here, like, you know, a small box here where you'll be giving your answer. You'll be typing down your answer. So to have that type of only, or to, you know, आप लोग के साथ थोड़ा और अच्छे से उसको लिंक अप करने के लिए, what I'll do is I will open up a sheet so that it is much more better for you. So just give me 1 second. और ये खोल दिया. So now we have my, you know, the document also, which I have opened up here, so that we can answer it properly in the same format in which the questions can be asked. तो मैं पहले तो इसको थोड़ा सा, you know, let me just put it down at the side, and this one also at the side. So we have this one here. Let me just, you know, I hope that you guys are able to look at the screen and it is not that small for you. It should not be that small for you. But even if it is, then just zoom in your screen. You can have a look at it. Or what I'll do is I'll, you know, whenever I'm doing this, I will, you know, increase the font size for this so that you'll be able to see it. So now in here, if you just see, if you have to calculate the gross margin, we have to find out what? You have to find out the selling price. Then we have to find out what is the direct cost. Minus the direct cost, we'll get our contribution, or you can say our margin, contribution margin. In here we'll get it. So that's what is required, right? Gross margin, it's required. So let us just see if I have to answer it in the main examination. I'll put down 1.0 here and look at the question again. I'll write down gross margin using current costing system. Fine. और मैं इसका टेक्स्ट साइज बढ़ा देता हूं. So gross margin using current costing system. Fine. तो what is given here, मैं थोड़ा आप लोग को रफली भी करके बताता हूँ यहाँ पे. आई गेस थोड़ा बहुत ज्यादा मैं इसको वो कर दिया हूँ, मतलब I have written down, I have scribbled it a lot there, but still no problem. So the total hours used 650 and 150. So direct labor hours, total direct labor hours is 650, 800 labor hours, and 80,000 is my overhead cost according to this. So what I'll do here is I'll put down overhead cost per hour is equals to, see, this one 650 plus 150 is 800. 80,000 is my overhead cost. 80,000 divided by, I'll put down in brackets, 650 plus 150. And what I'll do is I'll put it down in here that total hours, total direct labor hours. See, just for you guys to understand, I'm doing it very, very, very slow. Total direct labor hours is equals to 800. अब ये देख लो, when I am doing this, per hour overhead cost is equals to 80,000 divided by 800 is 1,000. Yeah, 80,000 divided by 800 is 1,000. Next, sorry, 80,000 divided by 800 is 100, not 1,000. Sorry. Next, sorry for that. So overhead cost, मतलब in total, I am getting 100 per hour. अगर मैं इसको यूज कर रहा हूँ मतलब 650, how much is it for M11? Let me just check here. So it is taking 650 hours here. So 650 multiplied by 100 will be my total cost is equals to 650 hours, and per hour is that much. It will equal to somewhere around, always use a calculator. 650 multiplied by 100, 65,000. And this 65,000, what I have to do is I need to divide it by the number of units sold. So 65,000 divided by how many units are sold? 1,300 is equals to, this is my overhead cost per unit, which is 65,000 divided by 1,350. Now this is overhead cost for M11 is equals to 50. Now gross margin is how much? Now gross margin is equals to sales per unit, sale per unit minus direct cost per unit minus overhead per unit. So that equals to how much? Is equals to selling price is 90 minus my direct cost is 10 minus my overhead cost, which I just calculated, 50. This equals to how much? 30. So my gross margin for M11 is equals to 30. Is that it? Gross margin is equals to 30. Now I have to find out gross margin for R24. So gross margin for R24. Now gross margin for R24, what I have to do? How many hours it is? It is 150 multiplied by 100, which equals to 15,000. Now when 15,000 is there, I have to do this 15,000 divided by how many units are sold? 1,500. So 1,500 units are sold. That equals to that it is 10 per unit. So overhead per unit is equals to 10. Now overhead per unit for R24 is 10. Next, what I have to do? I've got my overhead cost. I have to do the same, is equals to 60 minus my direct cost is 30 minus my overhead cost, which I just calculated, is 10. So my gross margin will be 60 minus 40 is equals to 20. So gross, see, you can even copy paste in the main examination also. I'll do that here. is equals to 20. I've got my answer. So the gross margin for both, I've got it as here I've got 30, here I've got 20. So question number 1 is done. Now let's see question number 2. Now question number 2, what I have to do? Gross margin using ABC costing, activity-based costing, activity-based costing analysis, or ABC costing. It's up to you. Actually, the ABC, the C in ABC is costing only, but still. Now, here it is a bit different. Here we have, number of setups and stuff. So what we'll do here is, first of all, we have this 20,000, 50,000, 10,000, separate. Okay. And let us just see what is the cost per setup. Like I can see here, cost per setup is equals to what? 20,000 is my activity, and the total number of activity here is 10. 3 plus total number of activity is 10. 3 plus 7. So what I'll do is equals to 20,000 divided by 10, which equals 2,000 cost, cost per setup. Then I have cost per number of components. Like the cost is 50,000. Here it took 17. Here it took 33. So in total, it is again 50. Yeah, it is 50. Now, cost, like, cost per number of components. I'm just putting it down in. It will be 50,000 divided by 50 again here. That will equal to 1,000 per unit. 1,000 per component. Then here is how much? 15 plus 35. It is 50 and 10,000 here. So I'll put down cost per material movement. Material movement. The cost for material movement is equals to 10,000 divided by 50. 10,000 divided by 50. I'm really bad at calculations. Make sure that you also have a calculator and don't do silly mistakes here. 10,000 divided by 50 equals to 200. I've got this cost per unit. Now what I can go forward is actually do it per unit. I can have the variable cost there. So now let us just see here. For this, I have how much? For this, it is 2,000 per unit. This one is 1,000 per unit. And this one is 200 per unit. Now I have to find out for my M11 and R24. So M11 is the top one. R24 is the bottom one. So M11 is equals to 3 multiplied by 2,000. Let me put it down in brackets. Plus 17 multiplied by how much it is? 1,000. Put it in bracket. Plus then 15, again 15 multiplied by 200. How much is it equivalent to? Now 3 multiplied by 2,000 is 6,000. 17 multiplied by 1,000 is 17,000. So 17,000 plus 6,000 is equals to 23,000. So 23,000 till now. 15 into 200 is 3,000. So plus 23,000 is equals to 26,000. So my overhead cost here is 26,000. How many units are sold there? How many units? If you just go back, 1,300 units are sold. So is equals to 26,000 divided by 1,300. Divided by 1,300. I am getting my overhead cost to 20. So here I can say my overhead cost per unit is equals to 20. And I'll also put down for which product. M11 overhead cost per unit is 20. Clear? So my gross margin for this would be gross margin is equals to how much is the selling price? Previously we just did it. 90 minus 10 minus 20 is equal to 90 minus 30. That makes my gross margin to be 60. Good enough. Now let's go towards R24. R24. What do we do here for R24? We need to find out again here, like the overhead cost. Again, bracket open. 7 multiplied by 2,000, bracket close, plus 33 multiplied by 1,000, bracket close, plus bracket open, 35 multiplied by 200. How much is the cost? Now 7 multiplied by 2,000 is 14,000. Yeah, 14,000 plus 33,000. 14 plus 33. Up till now it is 47,000. 35 multiplied by 200 is 7,000 plus 47,000 equals to 54,000. Equals to 54,000. And how many units are sold? 1,500 units are sold. So 54,000 divided by 1,500 is equals to 36. And now when my overhead cost is 36, let's see. I'll put down here R24 overhead cost per unit is equals to 36. Now my gross margin is equals to 60 minus direct cost is 30 minus 36. How much does it equal? 60 minus 30 minus 36. Minus 6. That's my gross margin here. So I've got a loss kind of stuff in there. So if I just show this one, what I've done gross margin using current costing system. I've got it how much? 30 here and 20 here. And here how much I've got? 60 and 36. So based on current costing system, I've got a gross margin of 30. Whereas here I've got how much? 60 using activity based costing. And for the R24, I'm getting a gross margin here of 20. 20 I'm getting, but here I'm getting minus 6. So the gross margin is changing in here. And then I also have my overhead cost, which I have calculated. So overhead cost kiska kitna ho gaya. Now, whatever I have done here, I can actually explain it in my next question, which is there beside me. So I've got my answers. Like this one is done. This one is done. I've got my gross margins. I've got my overhead cost also. That's clear. I hope that everybody is able to follow up with it. Now, अब यहाँ पे मुझे क्या करना है, describe how smart electronics can use the activity based costing information to formulate a more competitive pricing strategy. Be sure to include specific examples to justify the recommended strategy. अब यहाँ पे मैं ये बोल सकता हूँ कि based on the activity based costing, product M11 can be sold at a much lesser price because there is a huge margin. Now, when there's a huge margin there, I can, lower down my cost, lower down my selling price, and still quote it towards the company so that I can get a better, means I can get back that particular assignment in my hand, that tender in my hand, because I lost it because I was quoting at a higher price. But now I have doing my calculations, it is at a lesser price. I want that back, or you can quote it again. If possible, you can get that particular quotation. Then also here it is explaining us, or it is showing us that product R24 is running with the operational loss. It means gross loss itself. There we need to do something which can, get this over, or get this loss over, or kind of, get over from this particular loss which we are getting in here. So that would be the recommendation. And then identifying and explaining two advantages and two limitations of activity based costing. Well, activity based costing, the best example here is you will be able to have a cause and effect relationship with the calculation which you are doing. You can get a much better cost of your product, and you can have a better margin calculated for it, so that you are more competitive than your competition. That's what you can answer for two advantages. Two disadvantages can be said that it is really costly. It is costly. It is a bit on the expensive side to do the activity based costing, because normally not everyone can do the activity based costing. You need to have experts hired to do that particular work. And the second type, you can say that second type of a disadvantage or limitation, you can say that each and every time you have to do all these particular tedious work of calculation. That's what you can say for activity based costing. Overall, if it is a big organization, it's fine. But if it is a small organization, it may face problems. That's what I would answer. But what I'll do now is, let us just go towards the answer and see what is there, what they are doing here. So here it is. Let me just go towards the answer and we'll run through that. See here also, they have done almost the same. Yeah. Let's see what they are talking about it in the answer here. See, it is not recommended that you answer the complete stuff what is there word by word here. It would be more of your answer. You can, have some tweaks in it. Make sure that your message is properly conveyed to the examiner. Okay. Because the products do not all require the same proportionate share of the overheads associated to set up the components, the ABC system provides different results than the traditional system. The traditional method use volume-based allocation, which allocates overhead on the basis of direct labor hours. The ABC considers more important cause and effect relationship. In this case of smart electronics, model R24 uses more setups, components, and material movements, which might not be reflected in the labor hours in the previous costing system. The following table shows the overhead allocated per unit and profit margin under the current conventional system and the ABC as indicated for M11 and R24. So he is just putting down the numbers here. Like M11 current costing system, your overhead is 50 here, it is 20 here. Here your overhead is 10, here your overhead is 36. Okay. Then gross margin. Here it is 30, here it is 60, here it is 20, here it is -6. Just information, what you have calculated in question number 1 and 2, he has just presented it here. You can also present it in the exam. You don't need to put down this table in the examination. Now you'll ask, sir, how do we make a table in the examination? Just put down as we have done it here. If I just show you where is that particular question answer which we have done, if you just do it like this also, it will be fine, but have a more better presentation that okay, this is what, this is that, this is this, okay, तो थोड़ा काफी हो जाएगा. अब देखो, smart electronics management can use information from AB system to make better pricing decisions, as we discussed. After allocating overhead by ABC, it gives a clear cost picture that model R24 cost more to manufacture because it needs more setups, more components, more material movements. So see, he is more elaborating the type of, question number 1 and 2, which we have done. What type of problems you have encountered in there, whatever has happened, like, this is costing this much, that is costing that much. He has just explained that type of costing there, means those costs over there. And what he says that, therefore, the company might decide to increase the price of model R24 so that they can have a better margin there. And M11, the previous overhead estimation, so they can come down with their price on that. The management might reduce the price of model M11 to make it more competitive. All right. So overall, it is up to you to just explain what is there in here. It's not required that you have to have this 3 paragraphs, this table and stuff, not required, but have a decent amount of answers so that you can explain what you have done in it and you can have a proper backing for it. Then here you see advantages, better captures, has proper, cause and effect relationship. And then in disadvantages, you see again and again you have to do it and it becomes relatively costly, complicated system in sometimes. See, they have 3 limitations they have put down. So any 2 out of these 3 you can take it up for your particular answer if you're doing it. Overall, I hope that you guys are able to follow up with this particular session. I hope that you guys also have this material with you, because this is available with almost everyone in there. If you have these material with you, practice more. If you want any specific questions, in which you want my help in that, put it down to me, shoot it to me so that I can help you out with that. Overall, if you have a proper understanding of the concept, it will be really easy. But if suppose you're not having the understanding of the concept and want to join into my live sessions or want the access of my recorded sessions where I do all these on a regular basis, then you can reach out to me. The number is given below in the description. You can WhatsApp me and get the details for that. All right. So I hope that this session is helpful and I'll see you guys in the next session. Thank you.